Chicago Bears, currently being at 6-3, you want to find a way to get into the playoffs. That's a playoff caliber season, and winning and beating a team where the quarterback J.J. McCarthy, it felt like he was throwing the football with his eyes closed. He wasn't seeing the football field extremely well. They were very, very opportunistic in forcing turnovers against J.J. McCarthy. And to your point, man, they just made the necessary plays Chicago needed to make to win this ball game.
Don't cheat, my Bears win. 7-3 now and climbing.
Before today.
Prior to this match.
Yeah, before.
We're getting back into the fold.
Before.
Matt. But I want to go in further on something that you said there, Matt. J.J. McCarthy, it seems like a split personality right now. There was J.J. and then there was 9, as you said, that came up late in this one. Where are you at? Because a lot of those issues early on were self-inflicted. A couple interceptions thrown to this Bears defense. They did pressure him, throw some exotic looks at him, but it looks like two different football players right now.
Yeah, it's very simple. JJ has to be better. He has to be better, especially in the first half, missing way too many throws, costly turnovers in the red zone, and just putting his team in bad situations. We know what this Brian Flores defense is going to provide for them, creating short fields, taking the ball away, and putting that offense in good field position. And J.J. McCarthy, if this team want to be successful, especially in these last 6-7 games, he has to start the game off better and get in a better rhythm to get him going.
Yeah, because we see what he is when he is in rhythm. Some of those timing throws to the outside late in this game that got the lead back for Minnesota, it does not hold as a long kick return and then a couple handoffs. I think it does still go down as a fifth game-winning drive for Caleb Williams.
It does.
The most from behind drive in the fourth quarter. What do you make of the Chicago offense? Because it feels like they're on the edge of breaking through, for lack of a better term. From a yardage standpoint, they're short of their season average, but they are finding themselves around the top of the NFL right now. What's going to take them to that next level?
Probably not playing Brian Flores defenses, right? So we do have to be fair to the Chicago Bears, where this became, can you make a field goal there in the final probably 3/4 of this game for them.
Roman Duze had 2 receptions. Luther had 3. DJ Moore had 1. Once upon a time, DJ Moore was the featured guy in this offense.
Should have had 3. Couple hit him in the bread basket.
And that proves my point about the disconnect, the lack of rhythm. But they had enough to win. But that stretch that you're talking about, eventually those wide receivers are going to have to surface. They're going to have to surface and make some plays to help the young quarterback out.
Mouths to feed, certainly. You got Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland in that offense, and always a run-first approach from Ben Johnson. It's a couple points better than their divisional foe as they right a wrong. It felt like deja vu, but for a moment, the Bears sneak by with another late win. Most wins when trailing in the final 2 minutes in a single season since 2000. Now the most in any season, matching the 16 Lions and the 11 Broncos.
NFL scheme, an NFL coach that knows what the hell he's doing, with a generational talent. That's why the guy is getting better and better and better.
And Rex, to be fair, some of that just takes time. Obviously, it's amazing to pair him with Ben Johnson, and you're going to see, obviously, as the reps accumulate, he's going to get better at playing under center, which he has. But last week, you said, he should have been sacked, I think, 8 times in that game. And they couldn't pull his flag. And so many of them, the thing that I loved, he gets out of a sack and throws the ball away even, right? And I think his receivers had 7 drops as well. Like, he was the best player in his field, and he just kept coming. Didn't take a single sack in that game last week against the Giants, right? This is a guy that took a lot of sacks last year as a rookie. And I think he's learning to play, keeping himself out of these bad situations. And then the way he's playing in the fourth quarter. You said it, the game-winning run, he's under center, it's play action. He finishes it off. I just really love the development I've seen and the toughness out of the kid. It's freaking snowing. It's in Chicago. It looked miserable. Yeah. And this guy just got better and better.
Alex, remember we're sitting there watching like, oh my goodness. Yes. He got out of Houdini's getting out of it again. And the other thing, too, is, Alex, remember we're watching, and Mosh, you mentioned, they had 6 drops in the game.
Yes, right. Yep.
6 drops. I don't want to hear these. He only threw 60% completion. Oh, really? Do you watch the game? Yeah. Watch this guy. Oh, he's not a generational talent. The hell he's not. Yes, he is.
So that's one side of the equation. Now let's go to the other. Caleb Williams doing this. J.J. McCarthy, I feel like I'm contractually obligated to remind you he's only started 4 games in his NFL career. But Randy, that's your team. You watch him as closely as anyone. What are we seeing?
And you see a young quarterback, and this is me as a pass catcher, just need to understand how to gauge his athletes. Like they're talking about the first play that he threw to Jefferson week 1. That was a dart. Mm-hmm. But besides Jordan and Addison, I think that J.J. McCarthy, Kevin O'Connell needs to understand how to gauge their athletes because at points of time, comes a point of time in games where he escapes the pocket. There's the offensive guy right there ready to catch the ball, but he's giving him a fastball. So I just think there's some little things to be able to clean up, because we've seen what Ben Johnson, we sit up and talk about what Ben Johnson has cleaned up in Caleb Williams. Now it's time for Kevin O'Connell to clean up his young J.J. McCarthy. And all the expectations of J.J. McCarthy, yeah, bring him on, continue to bring him on. And the reason man got drafted coming from a national championship Michigan Wolverine. So all the controversy, all the negativity, yes, bring it on. But if there's one thing that I can definitely see Kevin O'Connell helping a young quarterback is gauging his athletes. You don't have to throw hard footballs to your running backs and your tight ends. If there's one thing I'm looking at and see if that changes today.
With JJ, it's not September. You know, it's not preseason, and this is basically what it is for him. Yeah. Right now. I mean, unfortunately, Thanksgiving's coming up and you're supposed to be playing your best. But the Vikings have a quarterback that I watch as a defensive player just saying, if he just took away about 4 of those, you know, what the heck is he doing? Mistakes on the field. It's not happening, though. He's going to have those throughout the course of the year. So if I'm a Viking fan, how's JJ look in December? I mean, is he progressing to where he's adopted what Ken Connell wants?
This is the hard part if you're a Vikings fan. Look at his peers in the draft class. You look at Drake May, who may well get the MVP at this point. Jaden Daniels had the best rookie season of all time. Bo Nix is, the best record in football. Caleb obviously playing really well in the sending. And if you're a Vikings fan, he is in the same draft class. He is on his 4th start. And so, it's hard to compare this. And Rex is always going to compare to Sam Darnold, who's leading the NFL in QBR. And, again, lighting the world on fire in Seattle. So that's the hard part is, we've got to be patient with this kid. He's coming along. It's still so early in the process.
Why should we be patient with a guy? Are you using
4th start?
But this man is in the National Football League. I just said this man he came from the national champion Michigan Wolverine. So all the talk, dude, you should know how to play. You should know how to throw. One of the biggest questions coming out of college was they ran the ball. So we wanted to see his arm. That's why I said, man, know how to gauge and know who you're throwing to.
And I think the real reason, and Randy, your point about, he ought to be there, because he inherited a team that won 14 games last year. All right, so that's why it's whatever. What I'm seeing out of this young man is he's just too inconsistent. Way too inconsistent. You're talking about sometimes he needs to learn to feather the ball instead of hammer it in there. It's just, I get it, 4 starts and all that, but we've seen so much success from some of these other guys, and especially being under Kevin O'Connell, we kind of expected this to look a little more spectacular than it has.
I agree. And again, to go back to last week,